Thanks for joining us once again for your update from the city of New Hope, joined by the mayor, Kathi Hemken, to bring you up to date on things happening in the city. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. What a fine day it is today.
It is beautiful to see the sun back out and the temperatures go up just a little bit. We've got a lot to talk about in the next few minutes to keep you up to date on what's happening in the city. Let's begin with a little recap of the election. You've got a few final numbers to pass along.
Well, I do. So the election in New Hope was really only for the two council members. So John Elder and Jonathan London both won their seats back again. We had a 65% turnout in New Hope of the registered voters that we had. So we're doing okay. We'd like that number to be a little higher, but it was a good election and we've got the same council we had. So that's always good to have some continuity.
We have talked in the past about safe routes to schools. You've got a little update to pass along. Again, remind us what this is and tell us what is going to be happening soon.
Well, Boone and 62nd, Meadow Lake School is there. We got a note from Brooklyn Park saying that they were going to redo the streets from 62nd up to 694. And that's going to affect some of the safe routes to school. One of the things that'll happen is they think they're going to be removing some of the parking spaces on Boone Avenue. That would be north of 62nd. So just a heads up that there'll be some construction there, some mill and overlay, but that won't be until next spring. But you need to know as soon as I know.
Another item we've been watching is Meadow Lake, and the drawdown took place, and there were some things that were left and some other developments. What is the latest there? And again, what are the next steps for this part of the city?
Well, they drew down the water, hoping to get rid of not only the little fish, but the curly leaf pond scum thing. Well, they got rid of the fish, but the curly leaf thing didn't go away. So now they'll be reevaluating their data over the winter and come up with a plan to get rid of this curly leaf plant that's growing there. I have no idea what they're planning to do, but they're a lot smarter than I am when it comes to that. So I don't think they'll do another drawdown though, but I think they'll do something different.
All right, as there's more information available, we'll pass that along to you. Infrastructure improvements, looking ahead a year to next year. There's a process the city goes through. Tell us where you're looking at, what that process is.
Well, typically when they do water main replacement, they walk the neighborhood to have basically a garage logic format so they could talk to people and tell them what's happening. Well, they were planning to do this on the 10th of November, but the weather was bad. So they put that walk through off. Now this is 37th Avenue. There's a cul-de-sac there around Virginia and Yukon, about 33rd. They should have gotten a note in the mail when that's going to happen, but I just want to make sure that people know that there is going to be some water main replacements there.
Another community development update is a property on Wisconsin, a rental property. You've got an update on what has been happening.
Well, we revoked that license, that rental license. It was a group home. It wasn't very well maintained and they weren't really taking care of their residents properly. So after we revoked that, if they can't rent it to anybody, they sold it. So they sold it for $360,000. I don't know who bought it. I've heard it was a single family, but I don't know that for sure. But that house has been sold and now they'll close on it in the next few weeks.
Let's move to scattered site housing. We've got two properties to update you on. The first is 36 in Louisiana. Give us the update there on that property that's been under purchase process.
It has. We finally were able to buy that property. And now what we're doing is just all the background work that goes with that. We should be closing in a couple of weeks on that. And when that happens, then what we'll do is we'll send out a request for proposals to build something there. So we'll tear it down and there'll be a new house built there.
Other property is 42nd and Boone. You've seen a lot of work happening here, but again, that weather, the wintry mix kind of slowed things down a little bit.
Yeah, it did. So there's some rules about when you remove all of the soil and you do that, some erosion rules. And typically we go and we put in hydro seed, I think it's called, where they just spray this stuff on. Well, it got to be too late in the season to do that. And with the snow, it would just wash away. So instead what they're going to do is put down seed and then they put something called a straw mat over it. And they'll just kind of pack that down. And then in the spring, it'll just grow up through the straw, I guess. In
Okay.
the meantime, they're splitting that lot. And as soon as that's done, then we'll send proposals out to developers to buy the land, and then we'll look at what they're proposing to build there and
Okay.
make that decision. They'll probably be building in the spring.
All right, very good. One final item from community development. They're the contact with the business networking group in the city. You've got a date of a meeting coming up and then something into New Year, a fun special event.
I do. So December 7th is the next meeting of the business networking group, and that's at City Hall. And that'll be at Ease Well and Wellness will be the speaker of that. And then the next one after that is the 4th of January, and that's going to be a social at Frankie's, starting at 3:00.
Great.
We try to bring the networking groups together. Now, I understand that Crystal has disbanded their networking group. So I don't know if we're just going to try to incorporate them and call it the Crystal New Hope Networking Group. I guess the groups needs to decide what they're going to do about that. But that social at Frankie's is just a fun event to get to know each other when it's not all business.
Very nice. All right, more to come on that. And again, go to the city's website, newhopemn.gov, if you want to find out more about that group or some other things happening like this. Santa is coming to a town, and it sounds like the city of New Hope is going to give Santa a little assistance to get around town. What is happening?
Well, this is the second year for this. And what they do is it's actually Crystal, New Hope, and Robbinsdale, and they get the police cars and the other big vehicles. Once in a while, there's a public works vehicle and the fire trucks, and basically they've got their little lights going and the sirens on, and Santa Claus is sticking his head out the window of something or other.
Nice.
And so this parade only lasts about, 3 blocks, but it'll go all over the city of New Hope and Crystal and Robbinsdale.
Mhm.
And I'll have more information on when. It's going to be the 10th of December, and they'll leave from Broadway Village about 5:00. So it's sometime in the evening. They want to do it at night so you get the full effect of all the lights and the
Fun.
sirens that aren't real loud. They've got some quieter sirens. So you'll get more information on that next week.
Yeah, it was a big hit last year. Sounds like they take about an hour in one city, hour in the next, hour in the next. So fun way to see Santa and some neat vehicles going around town. Other things happening in the police department, Meals on Wheels, that just continues on very successfully.
It does very successfully. The police officers are actually anxious to sign up for a spot. And so they just do this whenever they can. There must be some schedule with it. But the people that get the meals are really delighted to see the police officers there. It's just another piece of our community development with the police departments.
Yeah, great engagement with the community. Here's another way that some young students came to the police department itself. What happened recently?
Well, we invited the homeschool kids from a certain homeschool program. 29 kids came, and they were able to get a guided tour of the police department. Just another piece of their education, and again, the community development piece.
All right, and let's go to the older age of the population. How about defensive driving? It sounds like police were involved in a special course there as well.
Well, our police department, and Brad Callio does this every year. And there's an 8-hour and a 4-hour class. I think they just got done with the 8-hour class. And then the 4 hours, a refresher that comes in the following year.
Mhm.
So other than being police officers, they're doing an awful lot of stuff in the community.
One final note, Officer Callio, you mentioned he was recently out with some property owners. So tell us about this group and the meetings they have and some of the topics they cover.
Well, we have a property managers meeting once a month. And typically, all the property managers around here, the people that are managing apartment buildings, and they talk about mold problems and theft and crime. Well, he was talking about scams and fraudulence that happen to not just the people that live in apartments, but everyone. But this is a nice place to get like 30 or 40 property managers together to talk about how they can avoid some of that stuff and how they can help the residents.
All right, couple events coming up with police to look forward to on Wednesdays in December. The first is a car seat clinic. This sounds like it could be very useful for families with youngsters, or really not even that young anymore.
No, well, this is put on by our police department, our fire department, North Memorial Hospital, and Safe Kids, I think it's called. And they do this car seat clinic. You have to have an appointment, and you're going to put a phone number on the screen. That will be December 7th. From 4 to 7. So call and make an appointment. What they'll do is It's about 35 to 40 minutes. They'll make sure that your car seat is properly put in and it's secure and where it's supposed to be and how you put your child in it. It's really very comprehensive. And if you happen to be a new parent, oh, you really need to sign up for this.
Yes, great idea. And let's jump ahead. The next Wednesday, December 14th, that is the deadline for a important drive happening at the police department. What should we bring in?
Well, this is the police department doing their toy drive, and they're asking for unwrapped toys, new toys, and there's a bin that put those toys in, and they collect all that and they bring it to near, and then there's various groups that do this, and then there'll be a distribution at the Crystal Community Center, and I believe that's the 17th of December.
Correct. Very good. All right. So stop in and drop off what you can. To Public Works we go. A couple updates here. Recently, they had to deal with that snow that we all had to deal with. But then I guess on top of that, they had some water main activity as well. What happened?
Oh, these guys are wonderful. I mean, they get up in the middle of the night, they plow the snow, and then they put down something or other to make the snow not come back. It melts. So they're busy doing that. In the meantime, we get water main breaks, and that's a different group of people. And not only do they have to fix the water main breaks, they had to fix the water main break trailer. So our maintenance guys are just so busy, and bless their hearts. They're just behind the scenes and they make sure we get to work on time.
Yeah, hats off to the crew for all they did. All right, to Park and Rec we go, and this is the place to go, the In Motion. Lots of information here, and the mayor specifically wants you to go to page 21, and there's some information here that might be kind of fun over the winter break. What's inside, Mayor?
Well, we have something called a winter activity kit. And it's got a couple sleds in this kit and various other things you can do in the wintertime. When your kids are off school through their winter break, it's really nice if you've got something for them to do. So you go into City Hall, you rent one of these kits, you have it for a couple weeks, and then you bring it back. Yep. And you don't have to store all that stuff in your garage, or if you live in an apartment, there's no place to store sleds and broom balls and things like that. Right. So this is kind of handy to go rent the stuff and just go bring it back when you're done. So page 21 on the In Motion will just tell you everything you need to know.
Excellent. A couple other things Park and Rec busy with is tree removal and the emerald ash borer. What is the latest here?
So we continue to do our inspections. And, just because the tree looked alive last week doesn't mean it looks alive today. And our forester understands what that should look like. These trees need to come down. And so what he's been doing is putting big orange dots on the trees, which tells residents that he knows it's there. We're going with Tim's Tree Service, which has another name now because they got bought out, but they can't take them all down at once. So this is a very slow process of doing that. They'll try to get the ones on the boulevard or the ones that are in danger of falling down first, but they can't guarantee anything. If you have a dead tree in your backyard, though, that's your responsibility. Okay. This is just for the trees that are on the boulevard and or on that easement, that 15-foot easement. And you will get a list of replacement trees for those. And so if you have one that hasn't got an orange dot on it, I suggest you call the city, ask for the city forester, and tell them where the tree is, and he'll come and look at it and put an orange dot. And then you're on the list. You just might be a while till we get to you.
All right, good to know. We've talked about the snow a couple times in ways that we're trying to get rid of it. Now, here's a fun way to have some fun with it and maybe win a contest. Tell us about the Snowman Contest. We can start building early this year.
Well, we could, but now it's getting warm this week, so it's gone. But I'm telling people ahead of time, if it snows again, especially that nice, wet, heavy snow, build a snow structure or a snowman, and it can be as little as a coffee cup and as big as your Uncle Fred. It doesn't matter what the size. Right. And you should have a cute name for it. And then I think this ends like March, because we found that trying to end it by the end of the year, most of our snow is coming in February, March now. All right. So you'll get more information, but just a heads up, if it snows, get out there with your little gloves and build a snow structure.
Sounds fun. Let's head to the golf course. What is the latest on that beautiful course behind you? We think it might be done, but then we hear there might be some nice temperatures. We're kind of in that no man's land.
Well, I'm kind of hoping, actually. Right. As of right now, the golf course is closed for golf.
Okay.
However, it is open for parties. So they had a couple family Thanksgiving parties there and a couple baby showers in this last week that we're there. This is a really nice space that you don't have to clean your house. You can bring in food, and this is a nice place to have it. Well, we're hoping that the golf course opens again. I can't guarantee
Yeah.
anything, but if it happens to be a really nice day and it looks like it's warm out there, I suggest you call the golf course and see if perhaps you can just get around it. But it doesn't look good.
But I have inside report that the golfers are gone, but maybe a little furry critter has found the course.
Well, as I was looking out my patio door yesterday, I saw a little baby. Well, it wasn't a baby, just a young fox. And they're so pretty. This little red thing sauntering across the lawn, probably looking for food. So I don't know if he or she's got a den somewhere, but I've seen it a couple times now. So
Okay.
it lives in the golf course somewhere.
Good for them. All right, to the ice arena we go. They are very busy at this time of year. What is the list of items that are going on there?
Oh, extremely busy. So you open skating on Friday and Saturdays, or Friday and Sundays, I'm sorry. And so you can always look at the website and see where that is, or go into In Motion. The youth hockey is practicing. The boys hockey is having their first couple games November 30th and December 1st, I think it is. These are their home games, the Cooper Armstrong hockey guys.
Okay.
And then there's an adult hockey league that's starting to have their playoff games in the evenings on the weekends. So just if you're looking to watch a game or to skate, that's the place to be.
Yeah, 'tis the season for hockey. A few human resources items to touch on. The first is a new community service officer. You have someone that is on board.
We do. It's real close. I believe he starts on the 5th of December, where he'll do orientation and some field training, but he's passed the background check and he's passed all the other pre-employment stuff. And so we'll be getting that new officer pretty quick.
One other position to talk about has to do with that golf course behind you. Tell us a little bit about some of the shifting of places with the golf course and what you're looking for.
Well, this takes a little bit of explaining.
Okay.
Mark, who runs the golf course now, has been for about a year the manager, the overall manager, superintendent of both the golf course and the ice arena. But he has continued to do his job at the golf course too, which means he's working numerous hours. We want to make him have his job that he's been appointed to, and then that means we're going to be looking for a new golf course superintendent.
Okay.
So that job has been posted. We did not get 2 internal candidates, and that's what the rule is. You have to have 2 qualified internal candidates. We did not get 2. So now we're going outside to look for that golf course superintendent.
Okay.
So this is a good time to do that because it's hopefully we want the golf course to open, but this is a good quiet time to do that and get somebody in there and get them trained. This is quite a difficult job to have and involves a lot of moving pieces.
Right. Very good.
We're not losing Mark. We're just getting him to do the job that he's been appointed to do.
That sounds great.
Get some help for him.
Excellent. All right. The website, newhopemn.gov, the place to find out all of that information and also information on these next couple items we have to pass along. First is vote for your favorite photo. This is part of the In Focus photo contest. What should we do and when can we do it up till?
We have until the 30th of November, and you can either go online to the photo contest, go to our website and then go to photo contest, go online to view, and then you can vote online, or you can go into City Hall and see the pictures on a big screen TV, and there's an application there. You can vote there. We ask people to just vote once, not numerous times. The photos are just amazing. And they're all taken from places in New Hope by New Hope residents. So that's a good thing to do. So after you voted, you can go finish picking up all your leaves and get them to the Maple Grove yard waste dump, but you only have till the 30th. So you're getting a little bit of a reprieve here. The snow is going to melt in a few days. You got one more chance to get that junk raked up and get it out of there.
That's right.
After that, I think it's going to pretty much be there all winter.
I think you might be right, Mayor. Let's go to one other item here that you'll find on the website. It's got a long name, Catalytic Converter Theft Prevention Pilot Program. Break that down for us. What does it mean and how can people take advantage of it?
So we all know about catalytic converters, and we all know they're being stolen off of cars. And there's some vehicles that are more prone to have them stolen than others. So the city, the police department has got some kits. They're called cat guards. And what they are is I have to use my hands. It's a thing about that big that you put on the catalytic converter, and it's got a number. Now, so that that number can be traced back to the owner of that car, you have to do a couple things. You have to come into the police department with an ID that shows both you, who you are, and that you're a resident of New Hope. And you have to bring your car registration in so that we know the car belongs to you. Now, you can go online, and you're going to put a website up for people to look at that. If you don't want to go online and you just want to go in, you can do this stuff right there and fill that all out. But no kits will leave unless all the forms are filled out, because it doesn't do any good to have this thing on your catalytic converter if we don't know who the car belongs to. All of that information is kept very private, by the way. We don't sell the lists or anything like that. This is just a way to deter some of the folks that are stealing these catalytic converters, because they're pretty expensive to replace.
Very true.
And I know there's not a whole lot of these kits. So if you think you've got a car that is susceptible to this, either go online or go into the police department, or you can call the police department and they'll tell you from the list whether or not your car is qualified for that.
Very good. There again, you see the website at the bottom of the screen. A couple final notes. There is a Christmas tree up at the fire station that really needs your attention. Why should we stop by the tree?
Oh, this is kind of a cool thing. They've been doing this for a couple years. This is at Fire Station 3, which is the one in New Hope, right off of 42nd and Xylon. And they have a tree with bulbs on it, paper bulbs. And you go and take a bulb off the tree and buy the things that are on the bulb. Well, there's a number on the bulb, and that number corresponds to a resident at Ambassador Nursing Home. And so what you do is, most of the stuff is pretty inexpensive. Socks, coloring books, games that you play, like word games. They're not very expensive things, but they're just things for some of those seniors don't have family around to get them Christmas things. This is a way of giving them a Christmas gift. So after you buy your stuff, put it in a gift bag. You bring the gift bag back to the fire department with the bulb attached to the bag, so they know where it's going to go. And then the fire station people will get that to Ambassador. And I believe you have until the 14th of December to get those. Yes.
Yeah, great opportunity for residents to help out. So stop by the fire station and see what you can do. And again, In Motion, great place to go for a lot of things that are happening in the city. Again, coming up during the winter break here. And stick with us. We've got a list of a number of activities. There's a lot going on in the city as we head into December. So take a look at this list and see if you can get involved. Mayor, thanks once again for your time. Look forward to talk to you again next week.
Enjoy your turkey on Thursday.
Thank you very much. You as well.
Thanks, Dave. Bye-bye.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.